So isn't there like a Venezuelan you can hire to do this work?
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the Handyman Business YouTube channel. Today's video is the first business video that goes along with the current kitchen remodel series that I'm uploading on my main YouTube channel. It's called The Handyman. There'll be a link to the playlist down in the description. At this point, I've only released one video. The next video will be coming out on Monday. The next video after that will be coming out on Wednesday, and then another Monday, and then another Wednesday. But I want to get ahead of things to give you some information about remodeling kitchens, remodeling bathrooms in this era of houses. There's very specific customers. There's very specific things about these mid-90s production homes. If you live in a large city, you have these. You just Google, what are the top largest metropolitan areas in the country? If you happen to live there, most of the country does live there. Over 50% of the population lives there. You will have the sprawl, the suburban sprawl. And right out of high school, I became an electrician, and I was in one of these big cities. But that's all I did was rough houses and trim houses, rough and trim, rough and trim, rough and trim. I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of houses. Every single day, I would rough an entire house. Every single day, we'd probably trim 2 houses. Remodeling 1990s homes is how I got myself started. In about 2004, 2005, I was building new houses, but adjacent were the old 90s production homes. I was doing it on nights and weekends, and then eventually went full time. They are one of the easiest houses to remodel. I don't even call it remodeling. I call it disassembly and reassembly, because you just disassemble and reassemble. There is nothing that is complicated at all. There's nothing that takes a lot of experience or skill or problem solving. It's a pretty good money maker. I'll talk a little bit later about how just doing this one job has led to many jobs already. So many jobs that I have to turn them down. It's just so easy to get jobs in well-paying areas, disassembling and reassembling. Right now, if you're doing easier handyman jobs and you have the opportunity to do a 1990s renovation, it's very simple. In the house that I did this remodel in, everything was builder grade. Still had the Formica countertops, still had the builder grade cabinets. It had 2 layers of flooring. One was like some clipped together fake hardwood floor put over the top of diamond linoleum. I'll leave a link in the description for the playlist so you can kind of catch up and follow along. You can find a wide variety of people that live in these neighborhoods, but most of them are going to be families. That's something you're going to have to deal with, is how to work the logistics of completely destroying a family's kitchen and then rebuilding it and having the least amount of downtime. That is something that was one of the main focuses on this remodel, was getting everything out and getting everything in as fast as possible so that the countertops could be measured. And I can put the old countertops on top of the new cabinets so they have something to work with, something to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with while they're waiting for their new countertop to come in. And that could take up to 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, to get new countertops from the day that they measure to the day of install. I think that is one of the most valuable parts of adding value. I've talked for years about adding value to your work, selling yourself for a higher dollar figure. And your communications with the customer will give them a feeling. If you do any research on sales and market research, you'll know that people buy things based off the way they feel, much less than how much it costs. Sometimes it costs too much and makes them feel bad, so they wouldn't choose that option. But if you can make them feel good, make them feel safe, and they have a feeling of confidence that you're going to get their kitchen put back together as fast as possible, they'll pay for it. Hey guys, I got a quick announcement for you. I know a lot of you have downloaded Jobber and are using that to run your business. Jobber's having an online summit. They call it the Jobber Summit. It's an event online March 6th. They have a lot of different speakers that give advice and business strategies for small businesses. It's specifically for people who are in the home services industry, from remodeling, repairs, plumbers, electricians, power washers, painters, roofers, you name it. I'll leave a link down in the description where you can get signed up. It's free for the first 2 weeks, so you can download Jobber and get a free 2-week trial. You'll also be able to get into the Jobber Summit Wednesday, March 6th. Go click it. Back to the video. Another very common thing in this demographic of these production homes of families, they want to design it themselves. I hardly ever act as the designer. I don't think I've ever have acted as the designer. I am the installer or the reassembler. So I take what they bought and I install it or assemble it. All the cabinets came from Home Depot. The customers went to Home Depot, and they may have even had Home Depot come out and measure for the cabinets. And I can tell you that it worked. It was a piece of cake. I didn't have any input on the cabinets at all. I just kind of relied on the customer knowing enough to talk to the Home Depot people, and it took about 5 weeks for the cabinets to come in, and they got them delivered right to the garage. I did give them a heads up that saying, you know, you're going to want to store these in your garage, and you're going to need an entire bay of your 2-car garage filled almost 8 feet tall of cabinets. Same thing with the flooring. Customer chose the flooring, customer purchased the flooring. I picked up the flooring. Now, I say all this work is very easy. What I mean is it's not very technical. It can be labor intensive, especially if you're removing several layers of flooring. There's no way around grunting, groaning, and having back pain removing and installing new floor. One thing you don't want to do is let the customers see you struggling. They don't need to hear you bitching and moaning about how your back hurts. And I'll tell you, my back hurt a ton doing this job. I got through the demolition unscathed with just a little backache. The flooring install, I couldn't walk straight. I would wake up in the morning and I'll be walking crooked. I had to take 4 ibuprofen for every morning for like 4 or 5 days. But once I get moving, the blood flows, somehow my back pain goes away. That's another very important thing that I've learned and discovered is don't let the customer see you struggling. The work can get strenuous, and if you have too good of a relationship with your customer, they're going to start feeling bad for you, and they're going to start feeling guilty.
Ooh, isn't there like a Venezuelan you can hire to do this work?
That's come up a lot in the last 6 to 8 months. That's crazy that I hear these people say that. That's probably a topic for a different video. Even though you may have a relationship with this customer, I think it's good to get things in writing. If you were discussing the schedule with them, hand it to them in writing. Just type it up, print it out, and hand it to them. Maybe you can email it to them. I kind of like to physically hand it to them. People are stressed these days. They've got a lot going on, and they don't have very good memory. If you say, I'm going to start on Monday, they might think you said you were going to start on Friday. But no, I said Monday. We just said Monday. You're going to have the whole weekend to get all the things removed from your cabinets, and I start Monday. And I remove all the cabinets. So communication is key. Some people might be saying, yeah, they understand, but they don't. So if you have it in writing and make it idiot-proof so that they understand the days that you're going to be doing certain things. And people have already commented, or maybe one guy, why did you leave the appliances in there? Why did you just wheel them out to the garage? And I was like, are you? That would not work. It would not work for an occupied home. There's food in the refrigerator. Although they don't have access to a kitchen sink, there's other sinks in the house, but you got to wash your dishes. They were doing dishes in the dishwasher during the remodel. Another thing that you'll see in this video is I did the cabinets in 2 phases. The base cabinets and then the upper cabinets so that they still had storage. So when I did everything touching the floor, the upper cabinets were filled. Once the base cabinets were 100% in and the floor was 100% in, they moved out of their upper cabinets, and where they were storing other things, they moved into their new cabinets. And that allowed me to come back through and remove all the upper cabinets and go on from there. Now, it does somewhat slow the process down a little bit, but it also gives me a break. I got to take a Sunday off while they were moving out of the upper cabinets and into their lower cabinets and getting organized again. These are just a few things that you can do to offer a service that keeps them feeling good. If you have their house torn apart for too long, they're not going to feel very good. They're going to start to get stressed. So the faster you can get things back in, the better. Another thing I want to talk about on the logistics side is what do you do with all the debris? all the demolition, the 2 layers of flooring, all the old cabinets. Where is all that? The countertops. Well, it was stored on site until the base cabinets were in, because it was a race to get the base cabinets in so that they could get countertops the fastest. Once the base cabinets were in, then I'm no longer the variable that affects when the countertops go in. So once the base cabinets were in, I loaded up the pickup truck and took everything to the dump. That's also a really good feeling that they have. They got to move back into their garage. There was 2 days, 3 days where I occupied both spaces in their garage. Something happened during the first few days of the remodel. Customer came home, they were upstairs, and they didn't shut their garage door. All right, guys, I just finished filming the Patreon only video about the old Chinese lady. I think it's going to be a good one, and I think there's going to be some good conversation in the comments and in the community area of Patreon. One last thing that I want to talk to you about is that feeling. That feeling. Do not ruin the feeling that the customer has about their remodel. All my customers pick out their own cabinets. They pick out their own light fixtures. They pick out their own faucet. They don't always pick out great things. In this case, their cabinets, they looked good. They were definitely a major upgrade from what was in there, but there's a few things missing. A screw here, a loose drawer face here. Those are things that you keep to yourself and you don't talk negatively about the things that the customer bought. Now there is a limit on that. If the cabinet's completely destroyed and broken and you can't use it, you can't do an easy minor repair like, you know, go to your bag of screws and throw a screw in, or tighten up the drawer face, or adjust the drawer slides. If it's a minor repair, just do it. It's part of your job. It's part of your installation to just do it. I don't ever like to come to a customer and ask for more money. That would be a change order. I did have an example of this. I think I filmed something. They had this interesting home-built, DIY-built pantry in this kitchen that they wanted me to completely remove, and it left a decent amount of drywall damage on the wall. That could have been a situation that could have got me into a little bit more work than I expected. But if you do your inspection correctly, and you know that, okay, the back of this pantry is not the back of the wall, and this will make sense when you watch the video. It's actually this whole elaborate screwed on system, and it's going to leave drywall damage. That's got to be factored into your pricing. Another big thing was the linoleum underlayment glued, or was it stapled, or was it glued and stapled to the subfloor? I had gone over to the top of the basement stairs and pried some things up prior to even starting to get a good guess, a very good guess, that it was stapled and I could remove the entire underlayment and vinyl flooring. Someone asked in the comments of the first video, what would I have done if it was glued down? I would not have removed it. I would have not have taken on that task to try to scrape. It's pretty much laminated together because you glue it down with the trowel, like a V-notch trowel, and you bed the underlayment to the subfloor. That stuff's not coming up. Communicated to the customer that we're going to go over the top of this with the new hardwood floor, and I'll have to use a different transition because we're going to be up 3/8 inch higher. That was the main reason for removing all of the flooring right down to the subfloor, is to have a perfect transition from carpet to hardwood so that it didn't look like a DIY renovation where you have multiple, you know, layers of flooring and you got to use real thick transitions and different moldings. You see that and you know, oh, this is a DIY renovation. Someone spent too much time on the TLC TV watching Flip This, whatever house. Maybe you remodeled some kitchens in the past, it didn't go as well. If you have the opportunity to do a 90s and newer, don't turn it down. Make sure you're making some decent money. I will be going over the pricing on this project in another business video, but I want all the parts to the remodel to come out on the main YouTube channel, and then I may make a start to finish video that's super sped up without me talking in that, so that you can see start to finish like a time lapse, and then I'll give the price and talk a little bit more details about it. If you've got questions though, put those down in the comments. Go watch the other videos and come back here. Maybe, maybe next week, part 3 comes out when I'm hooking up the sink plumbing. And you've got another question that's business related. You can put it here. If it's not business related, it's a method or material question, put it in the comments of the Handyman video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.